everyone. Okay, so today is actually Wednesday. This is the start of a new vlog because my ass has been so busy that I haven't had a chance to update you guys in a few days, and I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to jump in. I've already read 2 books. The first book, both of these are on audiobook. The first book that I read is To Love Jason Thorne by Ella Mays. I gave it 5 stars. I have to eat my words because I totally just mentioned in the last vlog that I didn't think that a marriage convenience I could be able to give a 5-star read to that. I wasn't a huge fan of marriage of convenience tropes. And To Love Jason Thorne just totally changed my mind. This is a 5-star book to me. I love the audiobook. I highly recommend. It is so cute, so adorable. There's not just a whole lot of unnecessary drama. I loved the characters. I mean the dirty talk in this is on point. I loved everything about this book. It was so cute, so sweet. I really enjoyed it. So after I picked up To Love Jason Thorne by Ella Mays, I immediately picked up To Hate Adam Connor. So I ended up giving 4 stars to Hate Adam Connor by Ella Mays. The reason I gave it 4 stars is something happened about 65% of the way through, and I wasn't a very big fan of that. I didn't think it was necessary or that it needed to be part of the storyline at all. It was just kind of unnecessary. And so I couldn't give it the coveted 5-star review, but it's still a very good read. I still truly loved it. I have 2 new book boyfriends. I love both of these guys so much. They are sweet and swoon-worthy and gorgeous and kind, and I really enjoyed both of those books. So if you like slow burn, if you like marriage of convenience, if you like dealing with books that deal with the main character being an actor, pick up Ella Mays's books, the Love and Hate series. It is so worth that read. Okay, I am currently reading, my paperback that I'm reading right now is The Bromance Book Club, and I don't know who it's by. But anyway, that's the book that I'm reading right now. I'm like 61 pages in. I'm not like a huge amount through it. But that's what I'm reading right now. So I will try to update you guys more often. I hope everybody is going to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I will update y'all soon. Today is Saturday, and I have done a seriously shit job at updating y'all. So this is going to be a short vlog. Sorry. I ended up finishing the Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. This had a lot of hype surrounding it. As you know, it's super popular. Everybody was reading it recently. And it sounded absolutely up my alley. It was one of my most anticipated reads. I was just super excited about it. And I gave it 3.5 stars. It was okay. There were some parts that I really appreciated in it. I will say that the main guy has some issues in bed, and you never hear about that in romance books. It seems like in romance books, obviously all the guys are like gods in bed, and that's just not the case in real life. So I actually really appreciated the fact that this was a baseball player, that he is kind of a hunk and a hottie and stuff, but he doesn't necessarily perform so well. And I really appreciated that part of it, but it seemed a little obvious that it was a woman who was writing about men. Like, their words and the way that they interacted with each other, it just wasn't well done, in my opinion. It was very flowery, and the way that the guys talked to each other, it left me underwhelmed. So 3.5 stars. It is not my favorite, unfortunately. Okay, so the next book I have now picked up is Easy by Tamara Weber. I've heard a lot about this book. It is an older one that I've been wanting to read for a very long time. I am already 80 pages in. I just started on it this evening. I am really, really enjoying this book so far. The first like 20 or 30 pages, I almost DNF'd it because I just couldn't get into it, but it's starting to get really good. I'm super interested in this story. I'm gonna like this one. The next book that I picked up to read, I'm listening on Audible Escapes, and that is The Hardest Fall by Ella Mays. This is the last book that I have to read by her, and I am enjoying it. It's funny. The main character is a little annoying to me, but I get that that's her character. I get that that is how she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be super quirky and shy, and whenever she gets around this guy that she likes, she kind of just like spews word vomit everywhere. And so I totally get that that's the character, but listening to it on audiobook, it's a little bit annoying. So I'm really enjoying it though. It is funny in parts. It is keeping my interest, and I'm definitely going to finish reading it. Ella Mays is a slow burn queen. So good at slow burn. I'm gonna get off here. It is late, but I am super into this book, so I'm gonna keep reading, and I will update you all tomorrow. So today is Tuesday, December 3rd. I'm gonna make this a 2-week vlog because I am working literally 12 hours a day, almost every day, and I'm not gonna have that much time to vlog over the next week. So, but I do want to go ahead and give you a quick update. I have read Easy by Tamara Weber. Anyway, I've read Easy by her, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I think this was so well done, so necessary, so important in today's climate. I know that this is an older book. I think it was written in like 2012, but it is just as necessary and just as important today as it was back then. I think anybody who is a young person going to college should read this book, especially for women. It is so good. I know that there is a lot of people who actually didn't really like it, that gave it 2 and 3 star reviews. I loved it. Like I said, I gave it 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book. I think it was awesome. If you don't know what it's about a girl who goes to college, follows her boyfriend there. Her boyfriend breaks up with her, and then she gets almost sexually assaulted at a party, and a guy ends up saving her. And they have this romance, and it's really sweet, but this guy who sexually assaulted her keeps coming back, and it is just so well done, and it's great. So if you haven't picked it up already, I highly suggest that you do. I am still finishing the audiobook for the last Ella Mays book that I'm reading. I'm about half done with it. It's really good. And I decided to pick up It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time by Kylie Scott. That's going to be my next read. But anyway, that's it for me. I will update y'all later. Today is Wednesday, December 4th, and I have literally read audiobooks from the time that I woke up today at 7 o'clock this morning to the time that I'm going to bed. It is now, well, it's 10 o'clock. I'm still going to probably read for like another hour or so before I have to go to bed and go work a double shift tomorrow. I had the day off today, and I literally did not quit reading audiobooks at all. I read 2.5 audiobooks today. I read 1 audiobook yesterday, so I have a lot to catch you guys up on. Let me go ahead and start with what I read yesterday. I finished reading The Hardest Fall by Ella Mays. This book was so cute. I give it 4 stars. I will say the audiobook on this, the guy who does it, he does like this impersonation of like a woman's voice, and it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I cannot stand his voice whenever he's like trying to act out being a woman. It is super annoying. But other than that, I highly do recommend the audiobook. Just that little parts of that are just a little cringeworthy to me. Anyway, if you don't know what this book's about, it is about a girl who's in college, and she goes there to be close to her father and brother. Some circumstances happen where her biological father, ends up being an asshole. And whenever she's there during her freshman year, her friends, or her roommates, actually, they're kind of the mean girls, they dare her to go up to this guy and to ask him to, kiss her. And he ends up being a football player, and she follows him into a room, not knowing it's the bathroom, and literally catches him in the middle of peeing. They have this super awkward interaction. Fast forward, he ends up politely declining because he has a girlfriend. It fast forwards a year, and they meet again by circumstances, and then he says, "Hey, what about that kiss now?" And she says, "Well, now I have a boyfriend." And so then it fast forwards the following year, and due to unforeseen circumstances, they end up becoming each other's roommate. And it is their love story, and it is so cute. There is a super big misunderstanding in this that you see coming. It's obvious it's coming, but it's so frustrating and so angsty and so good. I adored this book. Like I said, other than the super cringeworthy woman accent that this guy does in the audiobook, I highly recommend it. Super good. Okay, so that is what I read yesterday. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera. I'm not meaning to. I'm just holding it, so sorry. Okay, so today, like I said, I went on a kick. I woke up super early. I'm working double shifts, and normally I work super late at night, but I've been having to go to work at 10 o'clock in the morning, work till 10 o'clock at night. And so I'm having to go to bed early, get up earlier. And I ended up waking up super early this morning and didn't have anything else to do. So I just decided to go ahead and read audiobooks while I had to take my mom to appointments and, do some grocery shopping and do some errands and stuff. So, what better way to do errands than by listening to audiobooks? So I listened to Goodbye Paradise and Hello Forever by Serena Bowen. This is these books are standalone. They're both romances, and they're set in the same world. So the second book has the characters for the first book in it, kind of. I mean, they don't play a huge role, and you can completely read these books separately and absolutely have no problem with it whatsoever. But I got this book on the Audible Escape package, and I just went ahead and wanted to read the whole duet. And these books were so good. I gave them both 5 stars. I know a lot of people only rated it a 3-star. To me, these were 2 of the best romances that I've personally read. They made realistic sense. As somebody who grew up in a very religious household, I could relate to some of, I mean, this was dealing with a cult. So it's not just a regular Christian household, but I grew up in a very religious, tongue-speaking, Pentecostal household, and so I could relate to some of the feelings and some of the judgmental happenstance of these 2 books, especially the second one, whenever it's based around camp, because I haven't been in that exact circumstances, but I've been pretty close. So I totally connected with these 2 books. I really enjoyed them. I thought the romances were just super adorable. I thought the relationships were super realistic and understandable. The way that the characters were able to react to their surroundings after being in a cult or after being in a very religious household, to be able to see them come out of that. It totally seemed realistic to me. I really, really enjoyed both of these books. 5 stars. Totally recommend. The audiobooks are amazing. The sex scenes are, they're nice. Just saying. I mean, they're nice. Okay, so anyway, I totally liked it. All right, so now what I'm currently reading is Remember When by T. Tourist. This is the first time that I've ever read this author. I really have enjoyed this book so far. It is based in the 90s, so it is one of those that it starts out when they're in high school and then goes on to the current, who they currently are. And it is, I don't know why, but I love like regular homeboys turning out to be like actors or singers, or like, to me, I think that is so cute. Okay, so anyway, I totally love that trope. And so this story is about a girl who has this big crush on the new kid, and the new kid is supposed to be like the new hot toy, and every girl is obsessed with him. And if you're from a small town like I am and went to a high school that was medium sized, like there was, I don't know, probably 400 in my graduating class, maybe between 300 and 400. So I would consider that medium. I mean, it's not like ridiculously small, but it's not really big either. Whenever you are so used to being around those people, and believe me, even with like 400 kids, if you didn't know, that's it can have small town vibes. I've known a lot of those kids whenever I was in high school from like kindergarten. And so everybody knew everybody. And whenever there was a new kid who came to class, everybody knew that you were an outsider and everybody would talk about you. And so this book just totally gives me those feels. I totally feel this story right now. I feel the 90s. I feel the big hair and the crazy clothes and, you know, the parachute pants. And I mean, I remember it all. So I'm liking this book so far. So she ends up, she's in class, new guy comes in, he sits behind her. They start flirting and having this connection immediately. And then the idiot brings another girl to this like party. And so I guess he like friend zones her. I don't know. But it's years later and he ends up being like some super hot actor now. And like he's supposed to be like the Brad Pitt or the Tom Cruise, you know, like the super popular, super hot actor that everybody wants. And she's sitting there saying, yeah, I knew that kid. I knew him before he was, you know, who he was. And that's as far as I've gotten. They are still in high school right now. And it's sweet, but it's just like, I already want to sit there and slap him and go, you idiot, why are you bringing another girl around? So, anyway, that's as far as I've gotten there. I have not read any more of a physical book. I'm exhausted. I don't know if I'll get any reading done the next 3 days. I hope I do, but it's not looking likely. So anyway, that's what's going on. I'm going to try to read a little bit more before I have to go to bed. I will update y'all when I update you. Hey everyone, so I kind of look like shit because it is Saturday night. I'm exhausted. I haven't been feeling very good today. And I did a ridiculous amount of reading over the last 3 days. Who knew that I would be able to get so much reading done? Like, so much reading done. And I was working 12-hour days, and I still got, like, okay, well, first of all, I work from home. So, like, literally any single second that I can read while I'm at work, I'm reading while I'm at work. So that was, like, a huge thing for me, is that, like, anytime we even had, like, a 30-second break in between calls, I was taking that and reading. And I went on this kick, and I'm still on it, and I'm gonna just ride this high while it's here, because I am reading so many books. I have 5 more books to update you guys on. Like I said, I just kind of went crazy. Okay, so the first book that I finished was Kylie Scott's It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time. Oh my gosh, this book was so good. I loved it. Like, I gave it 4.5 stars because there is a trope here in the last half of the book that I'm not crazy about, and I know a lot of other people are not crazy about. I don't want to say anything about it because that would ruin it. Uh, but I love this book. It made me laugh and swoon and smile. I was like literally smiling throughout this book. It is about a girl who, from the time that she's 16 years old, she is in love with her dad's business partner. Her dad's business partner is 15 years older than her, so it's the age gap romance. It's a taboo because it's father's good friend. And so she's in love with him. He doesn't have any kind of feelings for her. It's plainly platonic, but they're very good friends and they hang out all the time. And he actually brings her along to like all of his dates as kind of like a buffer, which I thought was hilarious. And they have such good banter between the two of them. But it kind of goes back and forth. So you see her history with him, and she's only spends the summers with him from her 16th summer to her 18th summer. And then something happens during her 18th summer where she tells him how she feels, but she does it while she's a little bit drunk, and she may or may not have, decided to flash him during this time, in which her father catches her doing that. Anyway, it's a huge deal. And so it fast forwards like 7 years. They haven't seen each other, and now her father's getting married, and she has to go back for her father's wedding. And of all the places that her father has her staying with, he has her staying with his business partner because they don't have the space at their house. And anyway, it is so cute. I know a lot of people didn't connect with the characters. I absolutely did. I thought they were just the cutest things I've ever seen. I love this book. So good. This was my first book by Kylie Scott. I highly recommend, and I cannot wait to read more of her work now. Her writing, I loved her writing. So easy to read, so cute. I like this one almost as much as I liked Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I know a lot of people don't have those feelings. I do. I really enjoyed this book. I can see why some people found some of the things problematic. And like I said, during the last fourth of the book, I was a little frustrated that the book went where it went, which is why I didn't give it the 5-star rating, but it was so cute. Alright, so the next 3 books that I read was the Dating in the Dark series by Alexandria Bishop. I don't want to go into a lot of detail. In fact, I've already tried to film this, and I went into way too much detail, and it was like 10 minutes of me just ranting about everything I hated about this series. So I'm not going to put you guys through that. What I am going to say is I did not enjoy this series at all. I did read all 3 of them. It's Dating in the Dark, Sinking in the Shadows, and Loving in the Light. And the book was choppy. It was not well written. It had a good premise, but it was just not well done. It was like the author just like wrote it and then published it without really truly thinking about what she was writing, without reading it and trying to fine tune it. It just felt like a rough draft. And it was so frustrating to me because these characters were neat and I was super enjoying the book. And then it just went way downhill. But it was just enough interest, and the cliffhangers were just frustrating enough that I had to find out what the hell was going on with the characters. And I didn't enjoy it. I'm so frustrated because I had to read it and I find out what happened. But at the same time, the books just were not very well written, and they frustrated me. And it frustrates me because I really, really wanted to like the series. I'm going to tell you a very brief overview. So look, all right, the book is about a girl who works at a call center. She has a boring life. She ends up going, her roommate and her best friend sign her up to go on this Dating in the Dark thing where she has 4 dates, each are 15 minutes long, and she gets to date somebody in the dark. She ends up meeting one of the guys and has a connection with him. And so they start texting. They don't know who each other is, and it ends up being her boss that she's working with, and the guy's like a total asshole to her in life, and they end up getting together, and it's their connection. There's an unplanned pregnancy in this book. It ends on several cliffhangers. Like I said, it's a trilogy. There's an unplanned pregnancy. There is a storm scene where they don't know if the guy lives or dies in it. And it's good. The main plot of this book is good. It just wasn't very well executed. There were so many holes. There were so many time plots. There were so many things. Just for example, the girl's best friend ends up becoming like an asshole to her, and they quit talking. Like, she blames her for losing her job. Anyway, she doesn't talk to her best friend for like over a month, but all of a sudden her best friend shows up at her boyfriend's door and is there for her when the guy goes missing. That's cool and all, right? But the problem with that is they hadn't been talking for a month. How did she even know that the guy, Merrick, was even in that state where the storm was? And there was, basically, he was in London for a conference, and there was some kind of a big catastrophe in London, and there was a major storm, and it came unexpectedly, and a whole bunch of people died, and there was just like this chaos thing. But she hadn't been speaking to her friend for like a month. And how did her friend even know that her boyfriend was even in that place, much less that she was over at his house? I mean, it didn't make sense. This book just did not make sense. It frustrated me. Gave each of those books 2.5 stars. I will never read that series again. This book was not well executed. Okay, so that was those 3 books. So Kylie Scott's, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Then all 3 of the trilogy for Alexandria Bishop. And then I read Remember Me by T. Tourist, and this was also a new to me author. This one I listened to the audiobook for. This is the book about the 90s I was telling you about, and this was really cute. It was a lot different than I expected it to be. I expected it to be like it started out with them in high school and then it goes to where the guy's an actor, but actually the whole first book is about them being in high school together. And it was super cute for like a high school love story. It wasn't super steamy. There wasn't like, they're in high school. There's some drama and shit, but it wasn't like the best drama there ever could be. I mean, it was cute. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. Yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. It wasn't my very favorite. But I want to read the second book because the second book is now 10 years later and they are going to a high school reunion, and I believe he is now an actor. So I enjoyed the first book. I thought it was really adorable. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the audiobook for the second book and go ahead and start reading that. And so that is where I left off. That was the last book I read. I am now reading The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I am going to listen to the second audiobook for Remember Me. It's Remember Me Part 2 by T. Tourist. And I'm wanting, to be honest, I thought I was going to read another indie author for, it's called My Week with the Bad Boy. But I think I'm going to wait on that because I really want to read Dirty Letters by V. Keelan. It just came out. I own the book. I really, really want to read it. And so I think that's the next physical book I'm going to go ahead and pick up. So those are the next 3 books that I'm going to read. And yeah, so that's it. I am going to end this vlog here. But I will update y'all very soon.